I grew up in the inner city of Cleveland, Ohio. Many of my friends and family used drugs and sold drugs. I saw many generations before me and after me struggle with the attraction of selling and using drugs. I have family in other large major cities across the country like Houston and Dallas. I also lived in Shreveport, Louisiana for 10 years and currently live there now. With that being said, I've seen the effects of drugs in urban communities. I've been in the Air Force for 21 years and I'm a cop, so it's my business to know the effects of drugs on communities. Good morning, my name is Lamont Jenkins, and today I'm going to talk to you about the United States war on drugs and how it's failing. Today I will talk about the brief history, define the war on drugs, how much the war on drugs costs, effects to society, and some possible solutions. The war on drugs is a prohibition campaign undertaken by the United States government with the assistance of participating countries, intended to reduce the illegal drug trade, curb supply, and diminish demand for certain deemed harmful, intended to discourage the production, distribution, consumption, targeted substance. The United States alcohol prohibition from 1920 to 1933 is the most widely known prohibition. The term drug war was coined by Richard Nixon in 1971. New initiatives designed to enhance drug prohibition. Let's talk about some of the costs. Did you know that it takes only $200 of coca to yield $50,000 of cocaine? Another worrying statistic is that a kilogram of heroin in Pakistan costs nearly $3,000, but sells for $130,000 in the United States. It pays to be a pusher. Worldwide, the international drug business generates $400 billion annually. 3/4 of all drug shipments will have to be intercepted for us to affect the sale and distribution of drugs. The cost to our society is staggering. This is not true in only human terms of suffering, but also other countries are suffering also. In the year 2000 in America, the Clinton administration spent $17.9 million on the fight against drugs. 60% of those costs were due to drug-related law enforcement, incarceration, and crime. These figures suggest that the war on drugs is not being won, and it cannot be won. Any amount of money being thrown away to fight the war on drugs is being dwarfed by the profits made. The lessons we have learned during Prohibition back in the 1920s and 1933 has taught us nothing. Anything turned over to criminals and gangsters is going to have a harsh repercussion on the society. The well-documented side effects of drugs have been so often repeated. Addiction, dependence, and death are made much worse by illegal drugs. Let's talk about some of the effects on society. Contents of drugs are being cut with dangerous variety of substances which are never intended to be put in the human veins or lungs. Who would knowingly ingest talcum powder, sand dust, cement dust, drain cleaner, and countless other poisons? The drugs on the street are regularly cut with these and many other substances. Fatal overdoses are common. No one can judge how much he or she is taking. Since street drugs are not properly labeled because they are illegal, drug users never know how potent the drugs they're using are. Someone who has purchased from a dealer pot on a routine basis purchase the same pot one day and it's less potent, and the next day it can be more potent. Hardcore drug users may take the same dosage one day and the same dosage another day and never know how much they're going to get. The difference results in underdose, overdose, and or death. If these illegal drugs are monitored similarly like alcohol and tobacco and labeled properly and consistently, individuals could make more informed and responsible choices. Mandatory sentence was introduced by the anti-drug lobby to get rid of crime. They believe that if you make the punishment more harsher, that people will stop taking drugs. Obviously, this, with the continued rise in drugs, something's wrong. Not only is mandatory sentences not working, but consider extraordinary byproducts. Individuals who were once functional members of society are put in jail and locked up, sitting there and rot several years. Families are broken up, leaving more single-parent children being raised. Ask yourself, is it worth it to destroy a family just for somebody getting caught smoking pot? Violent criminals are being released onto our streets every day, while these non-hazardous members of society are sitting unjustly punished in jail cells. The drug offenders sit in jails thinking about their families, their children, while the murderers are walking around town in stores with you. In 1994, it's reported that the war on drugs results in incarceration of 1 billion Americans each year. Of the related arrests, 225,000 are for simple possession of marijuana, the fourth most common arrest in America. The social consequences of the drug war have been widely criticized by such organizations as the American Civil Liberties Union as being racially biased against minorities and disproportionately responsible for the exploding United States prison population. According to reports commissioned by the Drug Policy Alliance and released March 2006 by the Justice Policy Institute, American drug-free zones are ineffective at keeping youth away from drugs and instead create strong racial disparity in the judicial system. Since illegal drugs has been blamed for feeding the growth of the underclass, this has caused prohibitions to call for further increase in certain drug crime penalties. Even though some of these disrupt opportunities for drug users to advance in society in social accepted ways, it has been argued that this creates a vicious cycle. The average youth experiencing with drugs get arrested. This will result in usually losing education opportunities, creating a criminal record, which makes unemployment hard to get, which in turn establishes a permanent underclass of individuals who 9 times out of 10 are out there struggling to make a living and feed their family because they have limited job and education opportunities to start with. A lawsuit filed in 1986 by 2 journalists represented by the Christic Institute alleged that the Central Intelligence Agency and other parties were engaged in criminal acts, including financing the purchase of arms with the proceeds of cocaine sales. Senator John Kerry, in 1988, U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations report on Contra drug links. The Central Intelligence Agency was supporting the Contras on a humanitarian mission, supplying them with money that was made by sales of drugs in the United States of America. The Contras were shipping the drugs to America, and the CIA was paying for the drugs. Some of these drug traffickers was being indicted by the CIA and still making drug deals. Despite the Reagan administration's high-profile condemnation of peddling drugs, to arm the Nicaraguan Contras, it still went on using